And good evening, you're listening to Modern Mystic Radio. My name is Sarah, I'm your host, also known as Mystic Sarah in the UK. I work for Psychic TV over in the UK, also have my own private practice. I'm a spiritual development teacher as well as a law of attraction coach too. Been working as a psychic professionally for 27 years now. I'm psychic since childhood as well. Now, I'm not on my own today. I'm very, very excited because I have a very special guest with me today. And this is Troy Griffin. He's an intuitive psychic medium and is also a psychic investigator as well. So I'm going to welcome onto the show Troy. Hi, Troy. How are you?
Hello there. I'm doing good. Thank you. How about you?
I'm really well, thank you. Thank you for asking. Right, Troy, I know some of our listeners are very, very keen to find out lots about you. So just tell us a little bit about how your psychic ability really started for you.
Okay, so I realized about the age 12 that I had a gift of clairvoyancy, and I would know what people were going to say at my 6th grade camp, what the directors were going to do. And at that time, I just pushed it off as deja vu. Been here before, felt it. As I got older, in 17, 18, my mother from another mother would send me home from Los Angeles with books on being a psychic, which I did have some psychic friends, but I put the books in the dumpster because I thought she was crazy. And so it really didn't come out till I was in my 40s when I met another intuitive working on a case in the Bronx Police Department, an investigative case, and asked me if I was psychic, which I don't know why I said yes, gave me the name of the victim, and about 3-4 weeks I found out I was able to validate about 98% of the police report.
Wow.
So I thought that was great. Still didn't know what I was going to do. And then I had a vision of another person that was missing in South Carolina in the United States here. And I went there and I was pretty accurate on that case. So I did a lot of soul searching. With religious beliefs, society, and I came to the realization that, this is natural for me, so maybe this is my calling. Maybe it was my calling to help others. And so I went into full-time practice.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So tell us a little bit. We all work slightly differently as psychics. So I'm just curious. How does your insight come to you? Do you see pictures? Do you have feelings, or do you just know? Are there words, or is it just a mixture?
It's a mixture for me. So I tell my clients I see pictures, places, things. Sometimes I just know what the person would say or is saying. I pick up mannerisms. So every reading's a little bit different, but usually, again, it's just, pictures, places, things, or like you just know. It just is natural for you. It just comes and you don't question it. It's just like a conversation we're having right now.
Yes, I mean, it's very much, I'm a natural psychic, so it's not like I've been, taught by classes or by groups or anything like that. So it's really about sort of developing not just my own intuition, but also, my communication with, my guides and also spirit as well. And that's one of the things that I find can be quite a challenge. Some of the you have to it's like putting a great big puzzle together, isn't it?
They're absolutely right. And I'm like you, so I haven't been trained. I haven't attended development classes. It's all natural, and it's right. I tell people that when we get these visions, these thoughts, we just know we have to put the puzzle together. And sometimes it comes instantly, and sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to put the puzzle together.
Absolutely. It's never foolproof, is it?
Never. No.
So you also have your own psychic investigation team, don't you?
I do in the United States.
So how does that work? What do you investigate? Tell us a little bit more about the work you do, and so maybe some of the members as well.
Okay. So the work that I do is I work on missing persons and unsolved murder cases around the world. So the North American Psychic Investigation is a group of mediums and psychics around the country that are there to assist on cases that I may not be able to connect with, because as a medium, we can't connect with everybody.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
they may be stronger in this particular contact with the victim. So what we do is it's more of a, here's the cases, and if somebody's struggling on it, bring it to us as a group. Let's look at it. When it's cases that I'm struggling on, I do the same thing, and I go back to the group and I say, here's what I'm struggling, here's what I have, and we look at it objectively at different points of views, because we all work different, and our goal is to really come to a solid conclusion that we can all agree upon.
Oh, wow. It sounds absolutely fantastic. Is that the only team of that kind in the US?
There's another psychic that has a small group. I'm not really sure of what's out there. When you research it on the internet, there's a lot of psychics that say they do investigations, and mediums. All mediums are psychics. Not all psychics are mediums.
Yeah.
But in the United States, we have a problem with intuitives because they stay in the psychic closet. And so they say that they do this, but when you really search to see what they do, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So, and that just makes it tough. And in the United States, we have a lot of psychics that are really out not to help people, but to try to make a quick buck. And so, for me, I'm very particular who I work with, and I have to do good. Really check them out very well. Vet them pretty good.
Absolutely.
And so,
absolutely.
Unfortunately, I have not found a lot in the U.S. And they may be very good, but I'm very particular, and I'll tell you why I work quick. I'm very particular because when we investigate, we are affecting people's lives.
Yes, absolutely.
In an emotional state. So when I pick the team to help me, I have to know that they understand these are people's lives, and what we say can hurt as well as it can help.
Yeah.
And there's a fine line. So we have another psychic medium that is older, closer to retirement, that did a lot of FBI work, and really besides that, I don't find a whole lot.
But you do have a great team working for you now.
I do. Always looking for new though. New people to add on to the team.
Oh, fantastic. So you talked about being psychic from childhood. What were the impressions? Obviously, when we start putting our gifts to work, how can I put it? It comes on, in a life of its own, doesn't it? But as a child, we're just open, aren't we? And we're not necessarily working with our gifts. What were your sort of earliest experiences, or most memorable experiences as a child?
Really it was being at the 6th grade camp and knowing what people were going to say, and then it happened, what they were going to do. What I did in my career is when people would ask me questions like you, and because I was in the closet for so long, I would just say, here's what I think, it's my gut feeling. And so so my most memorable was at 12, and there was a monk colony on the island that I thought was very spiritual. So it was very spiritual awakening for me. That's really some of the things early on that I remember the most.
Fantastic. And so now you're working pretty much full time. This is everything that you do here. Is that right?
Yes. So I do private readings, and this is where I make my money. And then if I'm not hired by an agency, police agency, FBI, government, then I work on my cases pro bono. So I'm very particular in the cases that I work on. My criteria to help you in a case is I should be the last resort, and I have to be able to connect to the victim. Now, I connect to the victims through their eyes. And if I can't connect with the victim, then I have to let it go. And I do that on a lot of cases. Some of them are pretty black and white, that you can do in an hour. Some of them take a long time. So for me to take a case and really pass it off to everybody else, I have to really believe that we can make a difference. If I can't do it, is there somebody that can? And that's how I work.
Fantastic, and that is very, very true. You know, we don't all work exactly the same way, and you know, it's not possible for us to connect with absolutely every individual out there. But we have our first caller that's coming through, and I'd love to introduce her to you, Troy. We have Julia in Selma, California. Hi, Julia. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Troy.
Hello.
Now, I'm going to now pass you over to Troy. Do you have a question for Troy?
I was just wondering if you can connect with my daughter, you know, and see how she is. Is she okay? She's on the other side.
Okay.
Sorry about that. What is your daughter's name?
Her name's Heavenly.
Heavenly.
Yes.
And she passed away at a young age. Was she just a child?
Yes, she passed away when she was 12 months. Well, a year and 2 months.
A year and 2 months. So your question is, yes, she's okay. She is, you know, I believe in God, so she is with God and she's okay. Here's a soul that is a very kind soul. And she's okay.
Was she afraid?
You know, at that age, the answer is no. We still cognitively aren't developed yet, so the answer is no, she was not afraid. What happens in a case like that, it's us as the parents or us as the adults that know the difference and know what fear is. And so it's us that live in the fear or wonder, you know, that. But as a child, they don't have that yet. So the answer is no.
Okay. Is she with my grandma? My grandma passed she passed on the same day my grandma did. 6 years later. So did she meet up with my grandma?
She is with two ladies. So I would say one is your grandmother, and then I have another one. Are both your grandmothers deceased?
I just recently, one of my other grandmothers just recently passed away like a week ago.
Okay. So just know that she's with both.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Can I ask something else?
Sure.
My kid's father passed away back in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Can you connect with him? Do you have anything from him? Or
is this the father of the child that passed away?
No. This is the father of my other 3 children.
Okay. Who's the one that passed away that was involved in either heavy alcohol or drugs?
That's my boy's dad, my 3 boys. That's the one I'm asking about.
And what do you want to know from him?
I just want to know if he's got any messages for me, if you can connect with him in any way.
Well, I feel like you have spoken to him since he's passed. Is that correct?
I talked to him throughout the day. I'll talk to him and stuff, like asking for help with my boys, because I'm struggling with them right now at their age, you know.
Right.
But that's about it. That's the only way I talk.
How old are the boys?
I got a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 12-year-old.
Oh, wow, you have your hands full. You know, really what it comes when you ask me if there's a message, when you already speak to your husband, you have that connection. And if you are listening or seeing pictures, places, things that he's telling you, you get the same thing as me. And so when I'm asked that question, you know, they really don't have a message for me because you're in communication with them. And so I would just advise you keep communicating. You know, the thing about your boys is, ask for help, but you know, us with children have been whose children, you know, it's just normal. So again, I'm not picking up anything from him. I think you talk to him enough that you really know what he's saying to you, what you're seeing, and what you're feeling.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Julia.
Thank you.
And off she goes. And thank you so much, Troy. That was really, really interesting. We're just going to wait and see if there's another call coming through. Okay. And we do have another one. We have Sheila from Canada. Hi, Sheila. How are you? Are you there, Sheila? Hi, Sheila.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well. Kind of excited about tonight, actually.
Me too. I'm really, really enjoying it. We've got a fantastic guest on. His name's Troy Griffin, and he's going to be taking your call and answering your question. So do you have a question for Troy?
Yes, I do, actually. I would like to know if I have any spirit around me where I live.
Are you talking about in your home or just around you in general?
In my home, around me. Like, are there spirits around me?
So the general answer is yes, we all have spirits around you. Tell me a little bit about what you're feeling with spirit.
Well, I was to see a medium a little while ago, probably about a year and a half ago, and she had told me that all of my deceased loved ones reside with me.
Okay. Well,
and I have quite a few deceased loved ones, so I was just kind of like, well, that's pretty cool.
Right. And so from my experience is that, we all have our deceased loved ones around us. It's a matter of when they come through. So really what it depends on is what situation you're in. If you're struggling with, money and one of your relatives was very good in money, very smart, it really depends on who's going to come through and at what time. So they're always around us. It's just a matter of when we need them. So it just really depends. So yeah, you have a lot of people around you. It's almost like a clan type feeling, like you could almost have like an Irish clan in your family. But again, it just really depends on the situation you're in.
What about a Hungarian clan?
Okay, there you go. I don't, maybe close enough. So really, it's a matter of when you need them, the right one's going to come through.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay.
I totally agree with you. Do I have time for another question?
Sure.
Do you see anything going forward with the relationship that I have been trying to manifest into my life?
Who do you have somebody in your life now?
No, I do not.
Okay. I think you're pushing too hard.
Well, I am Hungarian and I am stubborn, so yeah, I probably am.
Yeah, and the thing is that, first of all, let me tell you, you're not going to be alone forever. And so breathe. Just breathe.
Well, from your lips to God's ears.
Yeah, and I think you have to get yourself out there more. I think that you're really not getting out there and putting off the energy that you want. So you're saying that you want this to me, but I don't feel like you're putting out the energy for this. I feel
my heart's been broken so many times.
Yeah, well, and that's the hardest thing about trust. But again, trust your own intuition. And if you need assistance, ask your guides, ask your family which one can help you.
Trust me, I do that. I talk to spirits just about on a constant basis.
There you go. Then they're telling me that you don't listen, though.
Well, tell them to speak louder.
All right. But is that true? Do you listen?
I do listen. It's just the direction that I want to take sometimes is not the direction that they want me to go. So I guess I kind of fight it a little bit. Like, I'm like, no, I don't want to go that way.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
I did have somebody in my life And he was supposed to come down and see me, and it's every 13 days, every time he's off work. And I asked just the other night, is this guy a smoke blower? Like, is he full of BS?
Right.
And in my head came, yes, he is. Cut ties with him. He's a game player. And I did. And I feel uplifted now because I don't have that heavy weight feeling.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so I just kind of like, okay, well, I listened.
There you go. So always listen and trust your own tuition, and there will be the person you're looking for. Okay?
Oh, God. Any time frame on there? It's already been 6 years.
The time frame for you is really tough because you have to step back and breathe, and you have to, you have to get out there more. And so if I was to pick a time frame, for some reason, October is coming to mind.
Oh, Thanksgiving, that's perfect.
Right, Sheila, thank you so much. We're nearly out of time, so I'm going to hopefully that has answered all of your questions. Thank you so much for coming through. And Troy, thank you so much for taking two of those callers and obviously, letting us know all about you. How can people get hold of you if they want a reading with you?
Sure. My website is the best way, and it's www.psychicmediumtroy. So it's psychicmediumtroy.com.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you very much, Troy. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to wish you a very good night. And for anyone out there listening, if you want to get hold of me, my website is www.modern-mystic.co.uk. Also available on Facebook under Modern Mystic and Mystic Saira, as well as Psychic Today over in the UK. So wish you a very good night and a wonderful week ahead. Goodbye for now.